Good evening, hello, and welcome to a special session from NeoTrader where we are showing you how to select stocks. I think in the WhatsApp chat today, there was a lot of discussion. Very happy to see all that interaction which is going on and people making considerable amount of efforts to find out stocks. So what we have done here is kind of shortlisted it through the process. For the process, everybody has, their that document which we had sent earlier, right? And that document told you about how to go about the process. Now, just to recall for some of the people who have used that document as a kind of reference, right? And they have been looking at it. So where is it? I can't find the document. That doesn't matter. But you all have that document, and in a fairly detailed manner that shows you how you need to do things. So what we have here is the final extract from that particular document. Okay. So now what the document said is that you got to go through a certain process. That process included, let me see if we can just put up that particular document. And let me call it up. Yeah, so it's as this. All right, so I'm pulling it here. And this is the document which we had. And in this, if you come to this part, it tells you how to go about it. So once you complete that process, here is where you will reach. Okay, this is where you will reach, which says that now you will have a final list where the stocks are strongly trended. We have chosen it through Camarilla. They have strong candle patterns, that is long body candles. They are weighted for two important signals on Ichimoku and have also been checked for momentum strength. These are all done on higher time frame charts, monthly, weekly, momentum on daily, etc. And once you do this, ideally, many of these stocks should perform in the following week, right? So this is what was mentioned, and this is how we have gone about it. Now, the pages you will look at as far as these features are concerned is number one, you will start with the Camarilla page, right? Camarilla pivots is what you will start with. And in the Camarilla page, you will have the setting as monthly, right? So you want to take a look at the stocks which are very strong from the highest time frame that we are looking at, which is the month. So you set it to monthly and you look at stocks which are above H4. Now, why above H4? H4 and above are the stocks which are into a trend. So we want to look at stocks which are into a monthly trend. So therefore, when you take a look and invoke the software to give you stocks which are above H4, for this example, we are going to look at bullish stocks only. In any case, the market has closed well on Friday, so we expect next week to be bullish. So here it goes. So price is above H4. So then you get a bunch of stocks here, right? So now in your document here, which is the thing that this particular document has been sent across to you. So if you open the document, this is the same shot that you are getting from the NeoTrader screen, right? These are the names. And these names, I have simply cut and pasted it here. Okay. Now you have all of these stocks which are strong, that is above H4 on monthly. Now, the second thing you ought to do is look at the green dots or the green circles, right? So what I've done here is I have made a bracket like this, a kind of a delineation of the names where the three dots are all green, right? So you got Bank of Baroda, State Bank, Pidilite, Torrent, LIC, etc., etc. All these names are all green. Now, L&T is also there, but there is a gray in the middle. Muthoot has got a gray here. ICICI GI has got a gray here, and so on and so forth. Bosch has got some reds. Marico has two reds. So they are all not taken into consideration, even though they are all above H4 on monthly, right? So the bracketed names here are the ones which are above H4 monthly and have three green dots. So that's a kind of a filtration of the H4 list. Otherwise, the H4 list is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 45 plus 146 names. Now, on the chat, we saw that lots of people have put 30, 40, 50 names and all that. See, you must remember that when you're shortlisting stocks for the coming week, it should be something handleable. There is no point in having 100 stocks shortlisted. How are you going to be able to check them? So you got to filter and come down to a few names, right? So that you are able to watch them like a hawk. And if they fire in the next week, please remember that they need not. But what we are saying is that when we do this filtration process, they will have a high probability of firing in the next week. And if they fire in the next week, you don't have to think, you simply have to act, right? So otherwise, you're always thinking whether I should do this, whether I should do something else. Shall I look at this chart? Shall I look at that chart? All those things are not needed. When any of these names fire, you just simply take the trade as it is being dictated, okay? So coming back to this, so this is some 46 names of stocks which are above monthly H4. And then the bracketed names, which now bring it down to some 10, 11, 11 and 3, 14, 15. Then you got 15 and 5, 20, 21, 22. So the list fell to about 50% of what was there. So these are stocks with 5 green dots. So that means they are stronger within the space, right? So they have their different time frames also in green. So that means not only is it good in the monthly time frame, but it's also being buttressed by other strength. So the second step that you have to take after you finish this, right, is let's go to our NeoTrader screen again. The second step that you are going to take is go to the candlestick page, right? In the candlestick page, what you need to do is go and set the time frame to weekly, right? So it will give you now weekly candlesticks, weekly candle patterns, weekly candle trending up and down. All the statistic pertains to the weekly candle. Now, what do we want here? And as the main document has said, we want to look at the candlesticks with long body candles, okay? So when you choose long line, right, it's already been, that differentiation has already been made, and therefore when you come to long line, you get a huge bunch of stocks and it says there are 94 stocks. The reason there are 94 stocks is that whenever you take the time frame to weekly or monthly, the universe of the stock, right, that NeoTrader chooses automatically shifts to Nifty 500, okay? Nifty 500 will come on when you choose the higher time frame. If you choose intraday, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, etc., then the default universe that you look at will be the Nifty F&O. Intraday data and intraday analysis is available only for the Nifty futures option list. When you switch to weekly and all, it goes there. So what we are looking at is stocks to trade on the F&O space or from the F&O universe in the next week, right? So you're going to be looking at this and you're going to look at various F&O names. So you got ACC, you got Ambuja, you got Apollo Hospital, Ashok Leyland, Axis Bank, Bajaj Auto, so on and so forth, right? Now, what you want to do here is find the common names from the H4 bracketed list, right? From this list. So what you're seeing on your document here are some of the names which have been starred. I put a star mark against each of them. Now, if you notice, there are 4 and 2 6 and 2 8 and 1 9. So out of the 22 stocks which have been bracketed, only 9 of them, okay, only 9 of them have long body candles. So you started with 46, it got pruned down to 22. Now it's got pruned down to 9 names. Now 9 names are very handleable. You can perhaps stop right here and then simply run with this, right? 9 names are very good. I mean, it's a very easily handleable number. But if you want to do a little more, so like it mentions here, these are the stocks from the above list that, sorry, it's here. Here are the stocks that are above H4 in monthly. The ones circled are the ones with all the 3 dots green. The star against the name shows that these stocks have long body candles in weekly charts, right? So we start with monthly, highest time frame, and then we come down to weekly. Now, if a stock has got weekly long body candle, then the chances are that it's not going to blow up in your face. It still can, but the probability of it is very low. Got that? So that is why we are doing it this way. Now we are down to 9 stocks, right? Let's keep that list in our mind. Now, the next thing we have to do is check for momentum, right? Now, when you check for momentum, okay, you can do this in any order, right? But the first thing you have to do is start with the monthly H4. Then we are coming down to do the weekly stuff, which is the long body candle. And the third thing we are doing is going down to the daily. So on the daily, we are doing 3 processes. The 3 processes are, we are going to check the Ichimoku status, we are going to check the ADX, we are going to check RSI, right? So once we do all this, we would have done with our shortlisting part. So now we came down to these names, and then we go on to check the ADX in an uptrend, right? So then the third page you need to go to on your NeoTrader screen is, okay, this is the ADX trends, right? On ADX trends, I must choose the time frame as 1 day, right? So 1 day is here. So you put on 1 day, and then you're looking at bullish stocks right now. So you get a list of bullish stocks, right? Now ADX also has these circles, but for the moment, let's leave that alone. We'll probably take that up independently on a separate webinar for ADX. At that time, we will look at all this. There are also scores. The simple rule is that if the score is more than 1, that movement is starting. If the score becomes more than 2, the movement or the trend is taking hold. So stocks between 2 and 3 are ideally the good stocks where the movement is, kind of turning stronger. When stocks go between 3 and then go on to 4 and perhaps even 5, then those stocks are getting overextended. So that's the theory behind the scoring in the ADX. So now we are finding that the top score is only 2, which means that the stocks are not overextended. So that is good, right? So you can expect to get into long positions in some of these names and then have them maybe work out for you well enough. So you take a look at this and find once again the common stocks which were there in your earlier list. So I have simply taken this list of stocks and then just pasted it here. And these are the stocks from the above list that have ADX in an uptrend. So I have just put the tick mark against each of those names which have ADX in an uptrend. So you got BPCL, HPCL. Now some other names will also come in here, which is IndusInd Bank, which has come in elsewhere. One of these has been there. So, or then you got State Bank, you got Bank of Baroda, LIC Housing. So if you look at it, now you came down to 1, 2, I don't think IndusInd Bank was there. So maybe this is a small error. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then 5, and then 1, 6. So you got 6. So from 9, you got 6 items wherein the ADX is also into a trend. Now the scoring in LIC Housing, SRTR, SBI, Bank of Baroda, all these are at a level of 1. That means that the trend there is just taking hold. So these are new trends which have got launched in the last week. So if they take hold in the coming week, then they should be good movers. That's the expectation. Whereas you have HP and BP showing a score of 2, which means that the trend is already up and running in these. So now you have made another shortlist, right? And then we also went to the Ichimoku page, right? On the Ichimoku page, if you go here, where is the Ichimoku page? Here is the Ichimoku page. On the Ichimoku page, again, you are choosing 1 day as the time frame, right? Ichimoku also you have all this, but you are choosing 1 day as the time frame. And then you have the Ichimoku page showing you a lot of stuff here. What you want to do are taking a look at 2 things, which is the close is above the cloud. Now, any stock which is bullish will generally be trading above the cloud. And along with that, if the Chiku span line is also above the cloud, then it shows that the momentum in that stock is good and that there are lesser chances that it will get stuck, right? So we choose these 2. So you just put a check mark on these 2, right? And then it will show you all the stocks. The universe is, of course, you can choose whichever is the universe that you want, and you can look at it. So here you have a lot of stocks. So what you want to do here is look for the same set of stocks, right? So if you make a if you make a kind of a short list, then probably you could put it up here, right? In the main document which was sent to you a long while ago, it said that once you get this original list, right? Once you get this original list, simply take all these 46 names and make them into a watch list, right? I think there is a little bit of restriction on how many you can have per watch list. So you can just make them into watch list number 1 and watch list number 2. Simple. So once you do that, then if you run all these on the watch list only, it will be much faster. Now, for the sake of illustration, I have not done that. But if you do this, you will not have to really, kind of run through all the names. Like there are, I think, up to 8 pages, right? Each page has 10 names. So there are 80 names here where the prices are above the cloud and where the Chiku span is also above the cloud. Now, we are not interested in all the 80 names. We are only interested in, out of these 80 names, which are those 46 names do they figure? Then whether the 22 names that we shortlisted, not even the 46, the 22 names that we shortlisted, then where did we shortlist those? Here, right? The 22 names are the bracketed ones. Or the 9 names which we starred. This was using the long line candle. You can see it any which way you want. Depends upon how many stocks you really wanted. So when we looked at the 22 stocks, then we came up with these names. So these are BPCL, HP, Adani, ICICI Bank, etc., etc., etc. All of these names are the ones that showed up on the Ichimoku page. So what this means are, these are the stocks where they are above monthly H4. These are the stocks where you have, 3 green dots. And these are the stocks which are bullish on Ichimoku. And they also have, and some of these stocks have long body candles, right? So, and some of these stocks have bullish trends on the ADX. And now finally, we move on to also the RSI. And if you look at the RSI page, Again, you go there and choose day, because the RSI again has all these time frames. Make sure to put either your watch list here, or you can choose Nifty F and O. That is our, basically our default list. And now when you come down to RSI, and these are basis RSI bullish, which is not just plain RSI level, it is a little bit of a smoothened variety which I have introduced into this RSI page. So that makes it a little more reliable and as to what are the pickings. So on the RSI page, you get LIC housing and you get SBI, but the others are not here. So they have not made the cut yet in the RSI. Now you can see it in two ways, that why are those names not in RSI? It's because the movement on the basis of RSI has not yet been strong enough, right, in those stocks to trigger the signal in RSI. So possibly if those stocks continue in the coming week, they will trigger and their names will start appearing on the RSI page also. That will be a kind of confirmation for you. We'll talk about that a little later, but these are the ones. So we have LIC Housing, SBI. So now we have finished our 5-step process, right? So this was Camarilla, right? So what have you done? The stocks that are common across, it's actually 5-step, right? So the 5-step process is monthly H4, above monthly H4, 3 green dots of monthly, long body candle on the weekly, Ichimoku bullish on the daily, which is actually a 2-step thing, price above cloud, Chiku span above cloud, ADX bullish on the daily. If the score is about 2, that's even better, but 1 is fine because the movement is starting out. RSI bullish daily if it comes up in the green list. So if you were to make a list, what I've done here is I've just listed those names by way of sectors. So you're finding that there are a lot of bank names here, right? You also had some IndusInd Bank and perhaps 1 or 2 other banks. I saw ICICI Bank somewhere in that list, or 1 or 2 there. So you can shortlist them. And then when you see a very definite bias here for financials, right? Banks and financials. So out of the whole set of names, you got 2, 3, 4, and 2, 6, right? Out of 9 names, you got 6 names which are from financials. So that ought to tell you that that is the first area you should be looking at when we get into the market on Monday. And if financials are good, then you're up and running from the word go. That need not necessarily be the case. Financials can become selective. They can run after 1 o'clock, or they may choose to run on Tuesday or Wednesday. That doesn't matter. When they run, you must trade in them. That's the key. So you got BPHP from the energy space, and you got Nifty coming up in all that. So Nifty is also well placed. So if now Nifty is going to do well, then that is also a signal saying that, some other Nifty correlated, high correlation stocks to the Nifty, they also could run. So there are many conclusions that you can draw from this, but this is a straight arrow approach where you have come up with these set of stocks. Now, there were also some other kind of also rans, names like IndusInd Bank, Kulpal, Lupin, Adani Enterprise, etc. So these also can be on your radar. So I think for a week, if you keep some maybe 10, 15 stocks and shortlist them and put them into a watch list, a final watch list for the week, and then you keep looking for signals to emerge in the watch list. Now, where will signals emerge in the watch list? Now, people who are well versed with NeoTrader, they will know it. If you go to, let's say, expert alerts, right? And then if you find any of those names showing up here, now this is as of the last. So, right, when you have on Monday, this whole thing will get refreshed. So you may get any of those names under open is equal to high low, price volume, surge, etc. Pure price action, Ichimoku in different time frames, ADX continues to rise, right? Or the Bollinger Band cut in lower time frames, and whether it goes beyond the previous week's high, the previous day's high, range expansion, right? Something is suddenly captured in intraday change now, or positional change now, or a multi-day change now. See, there are so many ways to look at charts, and NeoTrader helps you to capture all of them. Now, one very important point that I don't know how many of you have realized it, but if you have not, the very vital point or important point that I want to make here is that we have looked at Camarilla pivots, we have looked at Ichimoku, we have looked at oscillators, we have looked at candlesticks and all of this stuff, right? We have not looked at a single chart, right? We have not looked at a single chart. You see, charts are great. Charts are at the base of what we are doing. But to go through charts one by one, to go through 46 charts and look at different time frames and read different signals, it becomes quite a ordeal, right? Everybody does not have skills at reading charts on a multi-time frame basis. Many people don't even have the skill to read a chart at a basic level. So what NeoTrader does is giving you the power of technical analysis without ever having to look at a chart. You can look at the chart at the end. That's the final thing. If you are of that kind or that bent of mind, then you can do that at the end. But note that we have almost completed our analysis. We have selected our stocks. We have pruned it down to a very handleable list of stocks. And we are now setting up how they can be tracked during the next week, starting from Monday. I'm saying that these stocks can fire on any day. We don't know. The worst case is that they may not fire at all. So what have you lost? Nothing. You know, to do this analysis using all this, once you are past the teething troubles, right, it'll take you 15 minutes. That's all it'll take you to do this whole thing and come up with your list of stocks for the next week. 15 minutes flat, you'll be done. And you will have a list of high probability stocks that you can look at. Is this the only list you should look at for next week? Absolutely not. If you want to look at more things, you can. But please understand that these are fully vetted. ये पूरे छांट के निकाले अपन ने, right? So they have a high probability of succeeding. And in the next week, when you look at it, you can look at it from that expert analyst page, or you can go straight away into our intraday trades page, and then you can put up your list, right? Now so you have your watch list where these final names will actually come. And once you look at that, keep that open in a separate tab. And if any of those names show up here, you just hit it hard. You know, if you can afford it, take a bigger size because the probability of a win is very high. Now, if you don't want to day trade it and you want to go later, at the end of the day, see whether it shows up here. Right? So obviously what we did is not for positional trade. If you're going to do for positional trade, then we need to have a wider selection. So that is something I'll probably explain to you in some other video. So this is how we get to what we want to trade or what we want to look at in the coming week. I trust everybody is clear. This is the document that has been sent to you. Please read the earlier document, how to do weekly analysis. Please look at the relevant pages of NeoTrader. And we will have more such videos in the future. And I absolutely guarantee you that if you follow what NeoTrader has in store for you, you will be absolutely flabbergasted with the kind of power that you will have in your hands. And your entire trading and investing will get completely transformed. So thank you very much. And I hope to see you as a part of some other video. All right. Thank you.